So yeah, we have a Kotobukiya. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's right here. Yeah, we have a Kotobukiya KOS-MOS version 4 extra coating version. This is actually branded for Xenosaga Episode 3, and as such, it will, have a lot of the Episode 3 elements in it, including the boob knife window. So we'll just go ahead and get this out of the way. I apologize, by the way, if you hear my dogs barking in the background. Someone's mowing the lawn, and they're just absolutely going crazy because of it. But yeah, so we have a number of runners here for these models. Looks like a couple bugs got inside this one. But yeah, so we'll just go ahead and we'll open up the runners one by one. And pull out the sprues. So the first sprue that we have is very clearly a hair sprue. It's actually, I don't know if it's really plainly visible, but you can probably tell for the best here on the base of the runner. It is actually semi translucent, which is interesting. Next up, we have what is very clearly all of the white parts of the outfit, including the underwear, apparently. Let's go ahead and slice this one open. I probably should just get the instruction manual out first. That way I can not have to open up the ones we don't care about. Yep. But I'm doing things the hard way right now. And now that I've said that, I probably will go grab that. But yeah, you can see these ones are actually, they're slightly reflective. They're almost like a pearlescent tone. So that should look really cool. I assume that's those extra coatings that they've talked about. And so we're just going to go ahead, I'm just going to go ahead and pull out the rest of these runners and place them to the side for right now. And we'll get into them as we need them. Oh god, avalanche of runners! But we've got the manual right here. We also have a sticker sheet, because of course we do. So we'll go ahead and stack these up over here in the corner. Instruction manual-less speedrun. I do not think that I could do that, Kaz. We're gonna... sponsored by Mountain Dew today. I'm kidding. I wish I was sponsored. But, yeah. Yeah, so we have the manual right here. You can see, whenever it's done, it should look relatively interesting. I know in these images, some of them are somewhat pre-painted. But we'll have to see how much we got. Is this... runner replacements? Yeah, I think this is like an order sheet for all of the different runners. Because like I can see like this pearlescent one is B. So it looks like theoretically you could get a replacement for this runner for 500 yen, which is kind of cool. So I guess theoretically if I wanted to, I'd have to figure out how to submit this. But theoretically, one could... reorder a runner if something broke, or if you just wanted to paint it differently. But yeah, so we have a whole bunch of different runner pieces. Looks like there's going to be 4 faces, 4 hands, and a whole bunch of attachments. I'm hoping that I can understand this well enough from the purposes of... saying that, yeah, this is saying, I'm gonna try to... Good afternoon, Keldon. Also depends if they can do international shipping. Yeah, I assume it would honestly probably be easier just to get a second one than do that. I'm gonna see if I can, if Google Translate will pick up certain parts of this. Because I'm assuming my knowledge of the Japanese language is going to be a limitation on some of these instructions. Because, like, I'm already not sure. Like, this looks like I need to break the runner, but then I'm not sure what the hell this is saying. So we're just going to go ahead and try to do a camera translate. Of course, my phone has updated the translation thing, and it's just like, you know what? We're going to have to force you to use your camera and update your permissions to do so. So it looks like, beware of damage, cut out the gate, it looks like what that one right there is. This one says, you know, let me cover the one. Note the lot. Oh, be careful of damage. Okay, that makes sense. This one, without the context. Yeah, so that's cutting out the gate. Not sure if you guys can see that on the camera, but it's, if you're not aware that Google Translate can do this, it's a really cool feature that you can literally, okay, so there's certain parts that adhesives recommended. That should be interesting. It is unavoidable due to manufacturing that the boundary between parts in the gate is eye-catching. I'm pretty sure that's not what that's supposed to say. There are places where it's difficult to stand. Mark the places with the mark to accidentally cut off a part. Okay, so it's just basically saying being cautious. Parts with the mark on the bottom of the part as shown the gate is on. Refer to the above cutting method. Please cut it out. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so... yeah, that's the thing. So this is... oh, that's the first step. For some reason I was expecting the next page to be the first step, but no. So we have two things we have to do first. I wish I actually... they make these fancy little, like, runner boards where you can, like, lay them in vertically to, like, help organize them. But I don't have one of those, so... this is going to be an exercise in entertainment of me trying to organize all the bits. Okay, so this should be C, D, E, F, G, and we need H. Is this H? No, that's I. Went one too far. Oh, that's because there's two in this. So this is both G and H. And then we need J, and J is going to be right here. So go ahead and put this up to the edge. You to translate. I'm doing pretty good, Kellan. Having a good time. I don't know why my chat disconnected on my phone. That's always nice. You had to translate a warranty from Chinese to English once. There was one part that translated as worship customers as a god. I mean, isn't that the American motto, to worship the customer as a god? Okay, so we need H to start off. Wait, these are both J's. Oh, yeah, I guess I have to do the part twice, so it makes sense for it to be J. And I apologize for the white balance. Anytime that there's plastic on screen, that's just the way that it is. So we've got two J sprues. Oh, come on, did I not cut far enough on this one? Apparently not. And then we need the H sprues. And feel free to cringe at my terrible knife habits, because I admit they're terrible. Alright, so we need part 4 and part F. So, H4 is these... oh my god, these are tiny ass little nubs. Like, this is the part. I was not expecting this tiny part for the beginning. So I guess, yeah, let's go ahead and clip these out. Interesting. These are actually ABS. And it says that on the sprue that it's an ABS piece. So typically I like to just go through and make sure that I have a nice clean cut. But this is fucking tiny. Holy shit. Hope to God I don't jettison this across the... You know what? This is going inside a part. I'm not going to worry about perfection. Just going to make sure it's not a huge, large... And it's on the phone. You're doing great. You're working on React Native for a potential position you're looking at. Your mom's company is a front-end developer for their medical app, so you're learning their workflow/tools. Yeah, I've heard React is a pretty... it's designed to be pretty simple, but I don't know too much about it. Personally, I've been looking into potentially learning some Python myself. For various reasons, also in relation to a position I was looking at. But unfortunately I didn't get that position because of not having the that particular skill set. But I'm not a programmer, I'm a network tech, typically. Oh, okay. I'm an idiot. I needed more sprues. This is an F. For some reason I only saw G and H and just completely didn't process F and J. Okay. So this is K, I... This is F, right? No, this is H. Still need to find F. Here's F. F is the gold. Ooh, that's pretty. It's a combination of Java, JavaScript, and XML. You can import libraries and functions like Java, but also structure app elements like XML and other markup languages in the same file, no less. Okay. You had me curious until you said in the same file, and now I'm just kind of terrified, because that sounds like a mess. Okay, so we need F28. Okay, yeah, so there's two 28s right here. And yeah, this looks nice little gate there. Yeah, this one's gonna need a little bit of cleanup. Set this runner to the side. Yeah. Okay, it's not just me that's scared of it, Kaz, apparently. It's definitely a doozy looking at external drive/VM so you can get a dev environment up and running. Yeah, I'm very quickly realizing that unless you kind of have a project to work on, that it tends to be kind of a nightmare to learn a new system, so I really do. I've got a couple of spare servers from an old job that I decommed that I need to set up for some kind of dev environment for myself, but I just have not had the chance, nor do I have really the time to do so. But that is what it is. It sucks because like the coding is only on the outside of the parts, so anywhere that the gate is cut away, the coding is not there. So I assume that's going to be something that you kind of gotta touch back up after the fact. Okay, so tiny ass little ball goes on tiny ass little stem. I'm not sure how well you can see that there. I'm going to see if I can zoom in this camera ever so slightly. Come on. Yeah, that was not slight, but it is what it is. So we can see here, of course, the autofocus is going to not focus. Come on. Yes, you can see this piece, it literally just has like a little stem in the middle of it. And this little tiny ass ball has to go down onto it. And oh, I think I got it. Yeah, so you can see That right there is this tiny, tiny little ball. I'm not sure if it's supposed to go all the way down or what. Oh, it looks like another piece is going to go on top of that, so it should clean itself up. Come on. And now this one is on as well. And now we gotta get piece J7. We got J again right here, and 7 is, it looks like it's the front of the leg, I'm imagining. I do like how they're just like, oh, you know, there's 2 legs, we'll just put each leg on a separate sprue. Well, on the same sprue. And, you know, just make them symmetrical. And I assume there's going to be some part that I have to, like, do backwards of each other. So I'm somebody who doesn't really care to sand too much, because for some reason I can get almost just as good with a hobby knife, just by terrifying people. Oh nice, you found a full offline translation app. Interesting, I did not know that Microsoft Translate could work without an internet connection. And I'm honestly wondering if that's kind of why it works in certain scenarios, because it doesn't need a connection. So I gotta sand this one down just because it's got, the nub is being a little bit problematic for even my knife. There we go, that feels better. I do feel like not having the cloud is going to hamper a translation app pretty heavily, but if it's just using like an internal Japanese-English dictionary, it should be pretty decent. Like I know the words are escaping me right now. I don't know why the one nub side is just so difficult to clean up with the knife. I don't know if it's because this is such a round section. Words are hard. Yes, they are. Okay, I think I can clean up the last of this with the knife. Yeah, that's nice. Google Translate actually has an ability to download for offline use. You guys didn't see it before I put it up on the screen whenever I was translating the instruction sheet, but it actually, I have on Android, you can have an offline repository for it, which is super helpful if you're going on a trip. Okay, just a little bit of sand right here on the edge, and it should be good. Yep, that feels good enough for me. So this piece just kind of slides down on top of the nub. So, okay, so it's literally just like a ball joint that goes down inside of it. So yeah, I'm not sure how far I want that to go on. So far so good, can't speak to the accuracy behind the, besides the Japanese translations. That's fair. I mean, besides Spanish, I can speak. Interesting. Alright, so I'm imagining that this might actually be on, like, kind of a stem to actually be able to go up and down to, like, pull apart. Because it won't actually come, the ball won't come off as long as the other side is on. Okay, so now I need G14 and G12. Obviously what you should do with your offline translation is just continuously like run it through Translate like 6 times and see if it's still good. That's how you should do everything in your application. 14 and 12. 12 is this piece. It's having some difficulty distinguishing between finer grammatical details, but serving as a decent general purpose resource. Awesome. Yeah, honestly, grammatical details tends to be where most translation systems seem to fall into a pit of fuckery. So I'd love to see if any offline translation tool could really account for that. Come on. The nubs on these are so precise. Like, I feel like I'm building Warhammer models because of how small the bits are, as opposed to like an actual like decent sized model. So this is gonna get real interesting as the night goes on. It's like it's not able to differentiate between conocer and saber in English, but that's a bit nitpicky for a general app. Yeah, especially when you have two things that are kind of similar meanings. Okay, this one I just got the little nub on the other side. I didn't cut it out super clean. Okay, so according to this, I need one more piece. I need E. Okay, so this is G and H right here, these two black ones. Where is E? I'm imagining this is going to be a darker colored thing, because it looks like it's like a structural piece. Is it going to be one of these few sprues? No, that's P, C, L, and D. It would be nice if this document was color coded for sure. Oh, E is the flesh color. Oh, okay, this makes sense. This part that I'm getting is, I think, like the knee joint. So it needs to be able to show a little bit of that fleshy color through. I don't know how I cut all the way across and it just left a little spot in the middle that wasn't torn. So I'm an idiot. So, I'm looking at this and I see, oh, G, H, F, E. This is not the E that I want. Come on, focus. Yeah. This is not E, this is polycap E. Whereas, like, you can tell, like, the circles are the number of the part, but because the polycaps, they switch to a lettering, it just completely threw me off, because I'm an idiot. So we'll put the flesh-colored one back where it belongs, and we'll grab the polycap sprue, which we had sitting out just a minute ago. The alphabet is a bit weird to get a hang of, but there aren't any grammatical exceptions like English from what you understand, plus it's phonetically consistent, unlike English. Yeah, phonetical consistency is just garbage. Okay, so I have built a few Gunpla in the past, but I've never built one with polycaps, and these things feel very interesting. Like, they're actually, like, semi-flexible. From my understanding, in certain Gunpla models, the polycaps basically aging over time is one of the big reasons why they kind of die off. And I just realized putting that up there is causing a lot of glare. So yeah, let's put the instruction manual back over here on the side. So we just need the two E's. Because I've heard weird things about polycaps, I think I'm gonna resist shaving those down right now. So we have the J, and then we have G14, which goes on the back of it, and G12, which goes on the back of that. So this is 14, and so the balls need to, damn it, I dropped it. The balls hook on the bottom of this piece, and then go into this. Okay, so that's snapped in kind of nicely. And then we just have this back piece. We can tell from the rounded edge which side goes with the poly cap and which side goes with the little nub. And that just snaps together like that. I got a nice completed foot there. Take this little smaller bit, and it just notches on the back. And we have one nice heel foot. So we'll do the same thing with this one. Almost forgot the poly cap. So you can see how the poly cap allows it to like swivel around. Ow, I just stuck my thumb into the hole that the heel piece goes into. It's interesting because of them putting that ball on this joint. It's going to allow me to pose the foot a lot more interestingly than I would otherwise. Now you got Portal 2 meme stuck in your head. Portal 2 was a great game. I honestly should go back and play Portal 2 again one of these days. Because, like, I love Portal 2, but I never did play the co-op, and I heard the co-op portion was actually really fun. So, next we have the next steps. Step 2. I love how the way they number these steps is just, like, all over the place. Like, this is 5. This entire section from here to here is number 5. Come on, this thing does not like to focus on the text. So this from here to here is 5, but this is 2, 3, and 4, and then 6, 7 is both of these. Like, okay, we're just gonna go all over the place. Portal 2 Episode 1 when? Maybe I'll do that for an off day. It looks like, just based on the next game tallies that you guys have put in so far, that we are likely going to be playing Chrono Trigger after this. So we need E, 2 polycaps, and H. So H was that one's F. It looks like it's body. Is this going to be flesh? Yes, because the flesh is E. So we need E, we need polycaps, and we need H. H, that's I. That's the massive cannon. I know that's not H. That's C. Where the fuck is H? Yeah, because this is A and B. We've got J. Oh. H is the black pieces that we were looking at before. So we need H11. Just this right here. This little strap for her garter belt looking things. There's actually an Isaac Asimov / Portal crossover fic floating around out there. Honestly, that sounds like the exact kind of thing I'd expect from the community, while at the same time being something I would never have thought about on my own. Okay, so we need polycaps C and D. So we got C right here. And we do not make 2 of these, so I'm only cropping out 1 right now. There are 2 C's. I assume the other's for the other leg, but the other leg uses different pieces. And then we also need a polycap D. It's warning me to be careful and not cut out the nubs. These polycaps feel really weird. They're like spongy almost. Yeah, they are super high heels. Like, can you imagine, like, people like to joke about battle heels, but like KOS-MOS apparently is just ridiculous. Also, I'm going to turn off autofocus on this stupid ass camera because it does not seem to be working. Okay, does this come into focus at all? Let's... Yeah, so this is... Yeah, that's like a solid 6-inch heel. Turning off autofocus and manual focusing does not do much better for me, but yeah, like... It's got a nice looking seam though, like, it doesn't look too abnormal. It looks good. Like, Atlas and Peabody drop into the USR headquarters, which sends everybody into a tizzy, like Powell, Donovan, and Lanning are still amazed that the turret was still a functioning AI without having a positronic brain. Okay, that's people getting way too specific there. Alright. So we are looking for 4 and 9. So that's this one. And this one. So we'll just trim down this nub that came with it. So I've heard tell from a lot of people who run Gunpla that like they like to clip back from the runner and then like clip in closer once they actually have it off the sprue, but like I find that to just be wasteful and a lot more tedious, and you still have to clean up the injection point. Anyway, it's definitely a nerdgasm, but it's well written. Honestly, like, I'm very surprised at the quality of fanfics sometimes. I haven't read any fanfics in a long time, but I remember back whenever I was huge into Evangelion, I read a bunch of fanfiction on fanfiction.net way back in the day. And there was this really, really fun, interesting one that, it was right around the same time that, what's that movie that called, Sin City came out, the movie. And they decided to go with, like, the Sin City vibe and mix Evangelion and Sin City, and like the Evas were their pistols. It very much felt kind of like what they did with Romeo and Juliet, the Leonardo DiCaprio version, which is better than it had any right to be, let's be entirely honest. Okay, so this does have a verticality to it, so I gotta make sure I do it the right way. It looks like the larger section needs to go towards the bottom of the legs, so come on, go in the slot. Alright, and then the other one just kind of sits in the hole. Kind of surprised we aren't sticking anything in it yet, but it is what it is. And then we can just close it up. Come on. It doesn't want to push together, and I'm scared to apply too much pressure. There we go. Nice solid pop to put that together. And then I just need to clean up the little garter section. Sin City. The noir vibes and stuff like that. Unfortunately, like there's the extra coatings that is gonna make this look a lot better without needing manual paint, but the garters don't have any coloring to them whatsoever, which is kind of sad. So that's just gonna press in here. And there, we got that right there. Okay, so next we need sprue B. So we're actually going to go to the color. No, that's sprue A. We need the white one. So sprue B, we need bit 23. 23 is this one up here. Off as flush as possible. And then we also need B26. Okay, B26 is just the other one right next to it. Again, nice flat piece here. We're going to try to get it as close to a flush cut as possible. That's all we need a B right now. Then we're gonna need T1 and G13 and J11. G is... okay, this is the polycaps here. G, I believe it's this one right here. Yes. So we're gonna need 13, which is this piece right here. Looks like it's like a lacing type bit, just based on the little tiny details of it. You found the pic and you posted it in Sci-Fi's media. Oh god. I'll have to take a look at that later, because that sounds absolutely terrible. Ava and SimCity, I'm not even sure how that would be. It would be like they're trying to just maintain the city and get things to stay together. Okay, yeah, J is these duplicate pieces. So we need J11, which is this corner bit right here. And that's all we need from J. Now we need H, which is this black one. And that's going to be H10 and 9. Which, that makes sense. And then we just need B26, which is another white bit. Wait, no, we already got B26. We just need T1. Which I think T is some of the loose bits. So, yeah, if we look here at the bottom of this sheet, there's just these loose parts here. And they're actually in their own separate baggie. I'm pretty sure they're these ones right here. So T1, trying to analyze what exactly it is. Is it this bit here? Yeah. Cross-referencing, it looks like it's this tiny bit in the plastic here. I'll try to get a better view of it once I get it open. Assuming I'm going to have the manual focus on this one. Come on. As you can see here, it's just like a little... I'm still not entirely fucking certain what it is, but it's got a nice little multicolor bit. What would be two games that could be awesome to merge? Honestly, like, I just think about, like, games that have an innovative, interesting, like, singular system that, like, don't really feel like they'd go together at all, but, like, their individual systems would make a combined whole. But I'm trying to think of specific things that would be. Break a knife. Even though I know this is on a flat section that's going to go merge to another bit, and I probably don't need to clean it up. It always looks better when you clean them up. I mean, like, I know Owlcat Studios posted a teaser for a new game that they're doing now, and people are speculating that it's going to be a Starfinder game, and like, that's two things that I don't think should be merged. I don't really like Owlcat Studios' vibe for the idea of Starfinder, but I guess that's a good thing. Like, I could totally see, like, Mass Effect combined with maybe like a Dragon Age type vibe to make a good Starfinder game. Okay. This is the 2B bits that I'm needing. Is that a screw gate? No, that's actually part of the model. Okay, the screw gates were on the flat edge here. Which flat edges are easy to smooth out for the best part. And then on the other side, there's a tiny little nub. And we're just going to clean that up. And same on the opposite side. This one, of course, has the gate on a little bit of a sharper edge, so it's a little bit annoying. Okay, so we got these two. Oh, okay. So this leg bit that I already made, right? This is what I'm doing right here. But so in the document, it shows two pieces clamping onto. Oh, okay, so this is this. Okay, I was very confused as to what I was looking at. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at in that upper. Okay, yeah, I think I'm just being dumb. So we got this here, and then this is. Fuck, what the hell am I looking at? So we've got these two B pieces are gonna press together. And are these the right pieces? 23 and 26. Yeah, that's the right pieces. They merge together. Oh, I'm an idiot. This is G13 plus J11. Did I get J11? Because G was this, and J was... Okay, J was the smaller bit on here. So this is J11. And then I need G13. G was the thing that looked like a mesh. So these two go together and it makes like two circular areas. Okay, that makes more sense. Ah, fuck. So, it's kind of hard to see, but this piece has like little overhangs right here. And the corners are really fucking sharp. In my process of kind of trying to crush this down, I totally fucking bit the corner with my thumb. Not my thumb, my forefinger. So now I can take the B's, 26 being the one without a stem, and 23 being the one with, and it looks like they're going to go on opposite sides of this right here. So, actually let's make sure, because it looks like it's actually being the other way around. Yeah. So that makes a nice little leg joint right there, it looks like. And then this T goes on the back. Alright, we finished the game. Yep, we're just building your favorite character, Cerberus. This one's a little hard to see what the fuck is going on. Okay, I think I'm stupid right here. Because I'm having a hell of a time getting this piece to go together. Oh, okay. It's easier if you slide it in from the side and not try to push it in from the front. Despite it being a perfectly straight bit. Okay, this is actually really silly. I'll show you guys in more detail once I stick this last piece together. Come on. So that little piece, I don't know, this is like the back of her leg. You can see it's like the garter on the back of the legs with a little bit of a gold accent. It's really interesting, but it was kind of a piece of shit to get together. You got out of a meeting with your insurance coordinator at work, and it's going to cost you about $82 for mental, dental, and vision coverage. Yeah, that's honestly not terrible. As far as the American system goes. Now, is that with a, is it a high deductible plan, or... Because that sounds, even cheap for a high deductible plan, but if that's a PPO with copays instead of a deductible, that would sound excellent. Okay, so now I've got this little bit with this little, like, hook edge at the top. It's a PPO. Oh my god, dude, you have struck gold, sir. Alright, so the one with the stem is the one that I want to go on the right side. Come on. Some of these bits are hard to see at a distance. State insurance. Yeah, anytime you're on state... Like, I know people who have basically stayed in government positions for no good reason whatsoever. Fuck. Okay, well, that's, I just dropped that. That's nice. I'm having an issue getting it to go into the slot it's supposed to go into. Unless I'm just being dumb about it. Oh, I see. So the one side that I'm not playing with goes in much deeper than the other. But it still doesn't want to go in. That's because I'm not reading properly. So this document is actually showing... it's showing the bit I just worked on, and then it's showing these coming in from on the sides and clamping together. But I think it's actually going front to back, not side to side. And that's where I was getting tripped up. Because I'm like, this form isn't actually going together. So this bit I'm working on that doesn't have the stem is the one that goes in the front. And it will slot in real far, as long as I can get it to slot in. There we go. So you can see it went in almost all the way onto this nub. That makes a nice little front leg. The only better insurance plan is federal due to nationwide PPO coverage, also super heavy with the bits. Awesome. Yeah, I saw your picture of your Wraith Seer over in the Warhammer channel we're both in. And I love the way it looks from the front. I'm glad those bits worked out well for you. I'm going to try to put a little bit more pressure because I got a little bit of a seam still. And looks like that's about as good. Oh, yeah, the other side needs more pressure. Okay, got a nice little click out of that. It's still, like, got a little bit of a gap here. Thinking I'm probably going to need a pair of pliers to actually push that in, but I'm scared to apply too much pressure. So I'm just going to leave it as is for right now. A little bit of a seam. This, I think, is going to go underneath the skirt anyways. Should not be too bad. This is a really narrow joint. Okay, never mind. It goes a lot farther than I thought it would. Still hate painting. Yeah, honestly, painting is not my favorite thing to do. Oh, well, okay, so we get to go to sprue B again. Like, painting is cathartic sometimes, but sometimes I'm just, like, I have to be in the right mood to paint. Okay, so we need B19 and 18. Which is this and this here. And it says to be careful not to cut off the bits. Okay, yeah, I see here this one, it has a stem, so I'm going to cut it back. And then cut it off. And then this is 19. We can just cut that one pretty clean. Hand wasn't cooperating there for a second. You should practice drawing? Yeah, practice makes perfect, as they say. And it's always good to practice anything you're passionate about. But definitely drawing is good. Speaking of drawing, I need to commission a couple pieces of art. I just built a couple new characters for Starfinder Society and Pathfinder Society. Well, no, just Starfinder. And they've got really interesting vibes. I'm not sure if I'm still dead set on those vibes, but I'm excited to run them at PaizoCon. You mean at this very moment? Yeah. Feel free to practice drawing while watching. That sounds like fun. When are you going to work on your NIDS? Sometime? Is that fair, Cerberus? I should work on them sometime. But yeah, I do need to work on my NIDS. At least painting them. If I could get a bunch of them based, I would probably be happier. But I really should just, like, break out the building supplies one day and just go to town. I've got a couple Carnifex kits that I need to put together. Okay, this one I gotta be careful with because I don't want to break the sprue, but I still want to knock it real nice and clean. Okay, that's good enough there. And then we're also going to need F29. Which fucking sprue is F? So we got J, G, H, A and B up there, polycaps. This is E. A, B, E. I'm actually going to reorganize these a little bit so it makes a little bit more mental sense to me. G, H, J goes over here. This is F. So I'll put this. Ah, fuck, I'm making a mess. You guys can't see off camera, but I'm just like knocking shit over right outside of the camera view. Carnifex tits. No, Carnifex kit. Though I've seen some pretty cringeworthy groups that I'm pretty sure Carnifex tits is probably something that has happened. I know there's actually there's a 3D printed kit that people have that is, oh, I'm an idiot. I'm looking for F. I picked up F, I set it to the side to categorize it, and completely disregarded the fact that it was F. I've actually seen a kit for 40K, a 3D printed kit, that is a Hive Tyrant, but it is Kerrigan. It like was modeled kind of like Kerrigan in StarCraft 2. So there's some people that have done like a whole like not like Zerg inspired, but like infected Terran inspired NIDs. But they're hard to find because of course you know, instead of just having one crazy IP company tracking you down, you've got two. Come on, there we go. That one's pretty clean. fuck these gold bits. Holy shit. Something you guys can't see because it's kind of out of focus. But these tips of this bit... Come on, I don't know why. Like, this thing has autofocus, it just decides not to use it. These bit tips are sharp as fuck. Like, just holding this bit to try to file down the nubs is just excruciatingly sharp. Like, not just those top corners, but also the bottom, middle. It's okay, we've got that bit. We already cleaned these up. Alright, so these two just go together. And, okay, so the small piece goes onto the outside of the large piece. Okay, that makes sense. This is one of her her thigh guards, I think. And then this piece goes onto the top of that? Yeah. So it all goes together like that. Got a nice little, like, cap type vibe. Alright, now we take the piece we put together in piece 3, which is this. And we got the stem pointing upwards. We've got a little nub right here, and that nub is going to go into the outside of this piece we just put together. And of course I can't line it up to save my life, because I'm apparently fucking blind. Okay, yeah, so that's just a nice little, like, side plate there. And then we gotta get H6, which GH. H is this, H6, which is the frilly top of the stockings. Not sure why they decided to print that in black plastic, but maybe I'm wrong about the way that the character is actually modeled in-game. Let's see. Oh no, she actually does have black garters in reality. I don't know why, not garters, stockings. I can use the right words. This one's a little dicey about how to clean it up, just because of the fact that, like, it's supposed to have a little bit of texture. But I don't want to mark it up too badly. So this is just going to go on top of the stem here that I just threw. It is a square piece on a round hole, so it doesn't really... Oh, you know what? This piece has a square bottom. So the rounded part needs to go in the front because it's going to recess with the garter. And then we can just poke the stem up onto it. And it looks like because this is cylindrical, this will actually swivel all the way around perfectly. Yeah, check that out. Even goes around underneath this because there's enough of a gap. So there, we have a leg. So now we got to put on the rest of the leg. We need bits from B. So we got B24 and 25, which are these two bits right here. And then we are also going to need G3 and 11. That is one of these black sprues. It's interesting, there's two different black sprues. They were in the same bag. They're both the same color injection plastic. But this one is explicitly marked as being ABS, so it's got high durability, and this one is not. But I would imagine, because they're perfect color match, that they're both ABS. thing that's terrible about these is I'm trying to, like, mark up the plastic as little as possible, not just because of it making it clean, but because of the coating on these. They revert to, like, a traditional plastic color underneath it. Okay, so I got this cleaned up, the other one still needs cleaned up, and then I gotta find screw G, wherever the fuck that is. I'm an idiot. Guys, I apologize for being stupid, because I totally picked up that, that G to talk about the ABS, and then didn't actually grab my bits that I needed off of it. Okay. So this one's H. Here we got G. So we need G3 and 11. So 3 is this little garter-like piece right here. Not garter, lacing. As previously mentioned, words are hard. And then we need G11, which is this piece right here. Two little tiny-ass bits that would feel right at home in a 40K kit, but they're fucking tiny for this kit. Then again, this is the most bits I've ever seen for a single model in my life. I don't know. I think this is closer to, like, a real grade Gundam as far as, like, bit complexity, but I'm not sure. Okay, so G11 goes on the inside of 25, which is this one because it doesn't have the stems. Wait, no, the one that doesn't have the stems is... Okay, yeah. This one's 24. This one's 25. So this actually goes on the inside of it? The face when your bomb-ass Stellaris run is getting ruined by the fact that you're unable to kidnap enough people to keep your population going? That's ridiculous. So this is like... This is showing G11 is just going into this piece, but it doesn't, like, give any details on fucking where. But, like, this is the piece that I'm looking at, and it wants to just go inside. Upside down. I have literally zero fucking clue where this is supposed to go. Does it go in right here? Does it go inside this circle? Like... Oh, you know what? There's like a little notch right here, and this little, like, cutout. I think it's supposed to just go in right there. Fucking fiddly-ass bullshit. We're gonna use the tweezers for this one. So, hold it still. Now that I've got it in place, okay, yeah, there we go. I just had to get it situated right. Welcome to Eldar Kits, how can I take your order? Yeah, Eldar, having put together a couple Drukari bits, kits, in my day, Drukari can get fiddly as fuck and also sharp as fuck. You'll have two number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, number 7, two number 45s, one with cheese, and a large soda. Okay, and then the other bit, bit 3, which is this one that's got the little garters, obviously is going to go in the back, and it actually goes into a little notch up here, it looks like. God, such a tiny little slot. I hate the fact that, like, they're just, like, perfectly straight indents. Like, they should be able to be pushed in, but they actually go in sideways. But, like, I feel like they're gonna fall out. Okay, so these clamp together. And we'll go down... Okay, they clamp together on the bottom of this. Let's straighten the leg. And yeah, the one that... Yeah, so this will go through the bottom of the leg. You have blood on more than a couple of your models. Blood for the bloody-handed god. I also have what if you draw Wayne and dog meat. Let's assume you're not good at drawing. Who the fuck is Wayne, Cerberus? I know dog meat's from Fallout, but what's Wayne? Drawing pets is always fun. Just draw a blob doggo. Okay, there's like a lot of pieces that have to line up right now. Like there's like 3 stems, the notches from these 2 pieces, and the leg itself that all need to line up perfectly for this to go together, and it's just being a massive pain in my ass. Okay, I think I got the one piece that was fighting me the most. Come on. I don't want to break anything. Oh! We got her! But it doesn't look exactly right. Okay, that's because I needed to push that piece in. Alright, give it another little nice push for security. There we go. Now we have leg. That's actually like a substantial amount of motion in this joint. It's actually got 2 separate joints there. And then we take either of the legs and shoot that polycap right up in the hole. And then we have leggy. Oh wow. This model's going to be considerably taller than I thought it was. Because like this is like solid. It's like longer than my finger in just the leg. It's your character in Kazi's PF2 game. His animal companion's named Dog Meat. Gotcha. Dude. Yeah, we just got disembodied legs. You know? Perfectly normal things. So it looks like our next step is to build the other leg. Which makes sense since we have the other shoe already. So, we gotta get E, which is our flesh. We need 8 and 5. I'll give you 2 guesses which 2 those are. It's totally not the leg meat. It's actually really interesting because, like, I don't know if it's just to make it matte, but the texture of this plastic is almost soft. Like, it's not like a soft touch plastic, but it's like, it's almost grainy. Clean these up. Honestly, if I wanted to make this look really good, it would take only a very small amount of work. Probably just like adding a little bit of detail to the garters. I know the guns are not as detailed as they should be, just from looking at the bits that go to them. But I don't know if we've got stickers to clean that up or not. Okay, so we have the 2 leg bits. Now we need the 2 polycaps and the garter belts. And polycaps are right here. We need polycap D and C, just like last time. Because, well, it's symmetrical. So what's interesting is you put this ball cap... Oh, you know what? I haven't dealt with that part yet. If we look at the leg, yeah, the ball joint that's got the hole in it is up here. We haven't dealt with that yet. So it's still very important that we get the right direction on it. So the ball needs to go with the hole upwards. I don't know why that doesn't feel like it's actually in there, but it is. And then the taller side of the notch goes down. There's that. Pop these two together. For a few moments you thought you were assembling a Gundam and you were very confused as to why they put garters on a Gundam. Yeah, that's valid right there, Keladon. I would be very interested if they put garters on a Gundam too. Like, there's certain parts that make sense with that, because like I know they have like frame arms girls, which are like I can never get I can't finish the word because I keep cutting myself off because I know I'm saying it wrong. Anthropomorphization. Words are hard. But this is not one of those. This is just KOS-MOS, who is, you know, built like a supermodel, except is a robot. Because that makes perfect sense. Because, as we found out at the end of the game, KOS-MOS is Mary Magdalene. She's a sexy religious icon. Like, what the fuck? Like, there's weirder flexes you could have done, but that's a pretty interesting one. Excuse me. Alright, so there we have an upper leg again. And... oh wow, that's interesting. We're assembling this one in a very different order. So it's polycaps to the side. Next we need H again, because we're already grabbing the other top of the garter. There's also the Gundam series where it's advanced wargaming model fights with IRL gun plug kits used in semi-modern Japan. Yeah, Gundam Build Fighters is cool. Like, honestly, Gundam Build Fighters is one of the only Gundams I actually like, because it's about building the models. I actually really like Gundam Build Fighters. It's, I would love if something like Gundam Build Fighters, even if it was a video game, if it existed in reality. Because, like, just the idea of having a, you also need H7, which is this piece right here. Okay, so this one uses a completely different connection mechanism, which is weird, because you'd think the legs would have similar connections, so that they would have similar mobility, but they're building this one differently. You can totally see people dashing together some abominations, letting the game's computer figure out what the heck their steps are. I want Gundam Breaker. I think I've seen pictures of Gundam Breaker, and, like, it was kind of similar vibe, but, like, I want the ability to actually, like, build physical gun plug kits and have them scanned into the game. Also, hello Zeranis, welcome to the party. Hope you're having a good day. But no, Gundam Breaker, I do agree, is essentially what I'm asking for. But I want the actual, like, building component to be part of it. Come on, go together, you piece of poo. I have no idea why this singular joint is giving me such a problem. Okay, there we go. It's actually going into the slot now, and I just gotta line it up. And there we go. Nice crunch. Forgot to file this little bit down. Some sort of metaverse. We don't talk about the metaverse. I'm kidding. Everybody loves to throw around metaverse as a buzzword. Could be doable. You'd have to consider how to combine stock part kits out of the ballpark edition, some sort of AI-driven 3D model analysis or some shit. Yeah, like, being able to recognize individual bits, it would have to have some sort of 3D scanning capability. Would probably just be scan the barcode on your kit's box. Yeah, like, I could go for that. Like, if you scan the barcode on the kit's box and then, like, have the ability to, like, scan multiple boxes and then kit bash inside the game, I would accept that too, because it would allow you to, like, at least build your stuff the way you want to build them. And then maybe do, like, an actual, like, photo scan for, like, painting and stuff like that. But actually use, like, the models as the parts in the kit. Okay, so next we have to get back to B sprue, which is white stuff. We need 16 and 17, which are apparently me being blind. Ah, they're up here. Okay, while we're here, we don't need any Bs. We need G13 and J11. G is black sprue. Yeah, 13 is the other lacing piece. And J is the white bits over here. We need J11, which, yep, that's the one that I already cut out of this sprue, so I need to get the duplicate J piece. I'm assuming most of the rest of the white on this is going to be for the arms, because duplicate pieces. Because we obviously know it's not going to the legs. Bits. Thankfully, I don't have to go through the decision process of figuring out how the fuck these two bits go together, because I figured it out last time. These two bits just go together. Let's see if I can not stab myself this time, though. Last time I put this together, I kind of skewered my finger. Sadly, Build Fighters isn't as jam as an anime, though. You're more of an original show timeline guy. You just really enjoy the real robot thing they aimed for, as though Gundam Wing is probably still your favorite after watching the main timeline stuff. Honestly, like, I personally just find Gundam, in general, a bit too melodramatic for my taste. I really liked Iron-Blooded Orphans, but most of the mainline Gundam stuff is just too over the top for me to enjoy. But yeah, Gundam Build Fighters, I can see its failures, because its primary failures come in the fact that it is very much an anime made for kids. It's very much got the power of friendship and stuff like that in there. But, like you said, I appreciate it for the real model building stuff, and I like the idea. They put some interesting concepts into it, but, like, the main plot element of Season 1 that had the inclusion of the character that was essentially the Deus Ex Machina of the series was just kind of weird in general, because, like, they're like, okay, we're gonna put this whole idea into effect of how this works, but we're not going to actually, like, delve deep into it. We're just gonna have this random outro at the end of the season that has it come back up again, but we're not gonna actually, like, explore why. Come on, go together. Every now and then there's just two bits that do not want to line up. They don't want to collapse together entirely properly. And usually it's because you didn't clean the gate properly. this one was just kind of giving me a problem for no reason. The couple of the stems. Come on. Okay, I'm pulling this one apart. If I can get it apart. Just because I can tell there's something wrong with the gates, because it doesn't want to sit together right. Thank you for the resub, Akira Crazy. Gundam Build Fighters. That's the one that I'm talking about, Zeranis, with the Deus Ex Machina, the other world vibe. Come on. Sometimes extracting Gundam pieces from each other is just as much of a feat as getting them together. Like, I don't know if they're going to bring it back up towards the end of Season 2, because I never did finish Season 2 just yet. But hopefully... Okay. I think I got it cleaned up to where I want it to be. Now I'm just going to squeeze it back together. Just a little weird gappage on this piece, and I don't think it's actually related to the piece at all. It's just related to how it's constructed. Just to ask, because that could be most of the shows. Yeah, you can't say that they don't follow a formula. Okay, this works out. So there's another piece. I've been complaining because this piece right here. Come on. It has this crack that goes right down the middle, and it doesn't want to actually go all the way perfectly together. And I don't know why, but it does have another piece that's going to go on to hold it together, it looks like. So that is going to be, I'm just going to not focus on that too much right now because it'll drive me insane. I need F. F is gold. 21, which is, no? 22 and 23. Where the fuck is 21? (28, 28, 29, 17, 22, 22, 23, 21's all the way in the corner. You think that's why you like Wing the most? It doesn't have the trippy, psychic next stage of human evolution stuff. Not that you didn't like it. It just made Wing feel a bit more grounded. Yeah, I think that's kind of why I liked Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. Even though they did have that weirdness to it. Because of the fact that it... Even though it had some of that weirdness... At the end of the day, it was just regular people, and it wasn't like the over-the-top government manipulation melodramatics until after you got to know and love the characters. Okay, so we have F-21, which is literally just going to, like, dock into the front of this... What the fuck? Okay, there has to be another piece that goes on the front of this, because this looks stupid as shit right now. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Okay, yeah. Autofocus is just being absolutely fucking stupid, so... I don't know why I have to manual focus sometimes. But yeah, it's like, this definitely looks like something that's gonna go on the outside of it, because that looks very strange. The psychic stuff was used a little bit too much for Deus Ex Machinas. Yeah, I love Deus Ex Machinas because, or MacGuffins, whatever you want to call them, depending on how they're set up. because they have good purposes, but sometimes it's just like, really? Like, we really gonna go that way? You drew Cerberus's character? You gotta share with the class. Okay, so it's just this little piece. We know from the last one it was like the back end of the garter, but it was like before it was like a special piece that had like multiple colors in it. This time it's just the top edge of it, and it looks like we're getting a second bit for the bottom half of it. So I'm not sure why they decided to go that route. It's kind of a strange flex. And of course I'm having an issue putting it together because it's too tiny. It's a tiny fucking piece, and it literally friction fits into the slot. Okay, there we go. Nice little gold ring right there. And then... okay, the build process of this leg is just fucking backwards compared to the previous one. So now we notch this together. Just like... okay, that was a nice snap, but like... I don't know, maybe there's nothing that's gonna go on there, but it looks terrible right now. Oh, you know what? I think this might be like this right here with the opening for the pistol. No, because this is the kneecap. It's this right here. Oh. I just put that on upside down, didn't I? Yeah, I put it on upside down. It's okay. I'm a genius. Okay. That looks slightly better. Come on, focus, you piece of... come on. Yeah, that looks considerably better. Okay, now I can put it back together. I don't know why I decided to go full-on stupid on that one. I almost swore? Have I actually been avoiding swearing? If I have, that's entirely accidental. Okay, so now we need the lower part of the leg, which is on the white sprue again. 21 and 22. The one thing that I am enjoying about this is most of the pieces are larger. My hands tend to cramp up whenever I'm, like, cleaning up very small bits. Like, well, not really cramp up. Seize up would be a better term. Like, right in here, this little tendon and muscle right here, it just gets so tight. And I end up having to relax my arms sometimes. But these pieces being bigger and giving me a better grip points is, I think, alleviating some of the potential pain right now. Either that or I just decided to stop being stupid and learn how to hold things right. We do need G11 though. G is one of the gray black sprues. Okay, we need G. Wait, I was looking at the wrong piece. I literally glanced back up to the previous leg that we put together. We need H8. This is so bizarre. So, the last leg we put together with a bunch of random inserts for the blackness. This leg we're putting together with the blacks being the structural piece. And I'm really unsure how the fuck that was the logic behind whoever put together this kit. I guess it makes it almost like keyed for the aspect of making sure you don't put it together wrong. Okay, so B22 is here, and it wants me to put H into it. So there's this one little notch right here, and there's a notch on either side of this, so that doesn't help me orient it. But if this is forward, the patterning should be on the right. Okay, so that's good. And then just like this. And we can just fit it back together. Holy shit, that leg went together so much easier than the other side of the leg. Because the other side, we had to manage the stems of these two leg pieces, as well as all the additional joint pieces that were in there, and it was just kind of agitating. Wow, that leg actually can go real tight. We do have additional pieces to put on there still. We gotta put the foot on next. Do we? Yeah, it's just, come on. There we go. Alright, so we got the foot on there. Now we have a bunch of decorative pieces to put in. So we need sprue eye. I don't think we've used sprue eye yet. You usually flex your hand a bit and roll your whisk between pieces. Not sure if it helps much, but eh. No, honestly, that probably does. Because, like, I'm not sure if you noticed, but, like, whenever I was showing it off, I went like this. I just kind of, like, gripped my entire wrist, which forces all of my joints to, like, pull apart a little bit. But, yeah, rolling your wrist and flexing would probably do a similar feeling. But me, I just kind of, like, pop it out of place. Might not be the most intelligent or, proper thing to do, but, you know, it works. Okay, so I is this big cannon sprue, which I actually have 2 of these, so I'm wondering if this is something else that's going to get mirrored onto the other side. So we can cut this one open. So we have metal. I7. So it's this little knife over here on the side. At least I think it's supposed to be a knife. It might just be a random metal piece. This is nice, this is a nice, like, reflective gray. And it's obviously supposed to, like, resemble metal, but it doesn't really do a good job of that, in my opinion. Like, not in real life. It just looks like shiny gray. These are definitely pieces that, if I'm going to, like, decorate it a bit more, probably gonna go back over it with, like, some bolt gun metal, some GW. Or maybe just a quick shade with, what's the name of it? Just a little dry brush of Necron Compound to bring out the... Metallic Sharpie is a much better idea. Like, bolt gun metal would probably look really good too, but yeah, Metallic Sharpie would probably look even better. Because it's super metallic. Okay, now we need a bunch more pieces from G. This is H. G is this one. We need 5, 9, and 10. So 5 and 9 are both, like, backs of the garters. garter. I keep saying garters when I mean to say stockings. Five and 9. 9's down here. And 10 is also right here. So just gonna take a close look and clean these up real quick, because these, I can guarantee you, will not fit in well if they're not cleaned up. That's what happens whenever you have a little tiny piece just going in a slot that needs to fit between other pieces. You gotta make sure they're nice and clean. Alright, so this one's 10. 10's just gonna go down at the bottom at the back of the leg here. I legitimately cannot see the slot this is supposed to go into. Oh, that's because this isn't 10, this is 9. 9 goes at the top of the leg? Yes. So 9 is the bottom of that metal piece that was 2 separate pieces merged into one on the last leg. This one, it's just being a little bit more difficult to me. Alright, that nice slotted in. That actually limits the amount of movement the leg can do, which is, I guess it makes it look better, but it makes it less posable, which is kind of shameful. We've got 5, which is the other side of the knee joint. And this one is literally just like a light, tiny little pin that goes into a slot. And yeah, so that's all the further the leg can go now because of the way that it's been built. But you saw me earlier, I bent it almost to like a perfect joint. So I guess technically if you wanted to pose it in like a super extreme pose, you could like pop these off, but that's not going to be an easy thing to do. This one, I just gotta clean it up a little bit. And this is the one that I still never actually saw where the joint that's supposed to hold it in place is. It looks like it was just like gonna sit in there. But we'll see how secure it actually feels once it's in there, because it's like... Oh, you know, I guess technically that's going to be a pretty solid joint because this is in there really securely. Oh, that actually went in super easy too. Which also means it'll come out super easy, which is what I was worried about. So now we have 2 legs. 2 nice, wonderfully pearlescent legs. Honestly, I don't know if you can really respect just how pearlescent a shade that these are in person, because like, come on, focus, like that sheen that you can see on them, that is like, it looks like it's just the light, but it actually has a little bit of that sheen on its own. They've definitely got like a satin finish on them, which is really nice. So we have 2 legs, and now it's time to move on to the next section. And it looks like the next thing we are building is the hip. So we need E, which is our flesh colors. We need 13 and 14 off this sprue, which is these 2 little sockets. We don't need any other E pieces yet. We will need polycap B, which we've got 2 of those. So I'm sure I'm thinking this one is going to be for like the actual hip connection. I'm assuming the next one's probably going to be for the neck connection. And we need F17. F is... we got A, B, and E up here. We got J. We got H and G. We do not have F out here. We got I right here. That's K. That's another I, right? Yeah, those are both I's. C. Another C. Alright, maybe I'm dumb and we do have F out here? Y'all, this is the second time I've done this. F is the gold. I don't know why, for some reason, my brain refuses to remember that F is all the gold pieces. So we need F17. So that's going to be this really nice, like, joint piece. Actually, this is an extremely detailed individual bit. This is probably the most detailed part of the injection of the entire kit that I'm looking at so far. Let's see if I can get a good close-up on this. Yeah, so you can see we've got like individual dimpling on all the edges, creasing between the two, and then we've got the actual like standalone joint at the bottom. It's just a very well modeled piece. So, I'm actually gonna go ahead and zoom in here, because if I can zoom in and get it to focus closer, it'll probably be better for you guys, actually. Of course, it does not seem to want to focus. I guess I can maybe bring the camera in a little closer, and then zoom out. We'll try that right there. Okay, come on. Just trying to make this a little better for you guys. So I'm trying to remember the sprue connection points were on this one. One's right here. That one's pretty clean. I'm not seeing the sprue connection joints on this, so I think I'm fine there. And this one's still also same. Okay, so no real cleanup there. This gold was on these 2 little side sections. We do have a little bit of extra nubbage there. So I'm just going to shave that down. And then we've got the polycap. So we've got the 17 here. And then polycap. Oh, this goes upside down. Okay. Polycap B is going to just rest inside of it. Wait, no. Polycap B rests inside of E? Oh, okay, so there's a nub right here, which is where the polycap goes into. And the polycap is going to secure to the other section, but both of these notch into this somehow. Is it like this? I'm like double check and triple checking how this is supposed to look, because this looks all sorts of weird in the drawing. Is it backwards? I mean, I think that's what it... I think it's actually drawn backwards like this on the drawing. So this becomes that. And then the other side. This doesn't seem right. Surely the polycap is not this far apart. Like that's definitely not right. Like 100%. Okay, so first things first, it has us sticking the polycap into the one side. Then, second, we put the middle piece into 14. And then we put 3 into it. But is this supposed to be a jointed piece where they go into each other? Okay, so pretty sure this is E. So we got the leg joint over here. And rotate it down. Yeah, that looks like it does in the picture. And then is this supposed to go like this? And then we have this here, upside down. And it will go into 14, which needs to be oriented like this. Okay, yeah, I had that all fucking wrong before. That looks a lot better. And of course it just fell off. Okay. So now this makes sense, because this is just a little nub that's going to hold the side of the polycap. Yeah, so even though I had it upside down, it was like upside down, upside down. And this is going to fit together. And that's just kind of a pressure fit. It's not really like holding very securely. Which is interesting, all things considered. Next is I need T2. T is our little baggie of things here. Okay, it looks like we're grabbing the boob window. So we have our boobs. Nice little boobs. And then I thought we were putting together the hip, but I guess we're putting together the boobs. Now we need E3, which is flesh. I have a feeling we're grabbing the cleavage. 3. Yep, 3 is right here. Grab my clippers. This one doesn't really need cleaned up, just because of where the points are. So now we take T2 and E3. Okay, yeah, so this piece is literally the underboob. Just secures in with a couple of pins on the back. Come on, go in the slot. Tiny little slot is just being kind of annoying on how to get together. See if I can use the tweezers to help groom it in. Trying not to damage any of the coating. I can tell it's supposed to go just a little bit further. Okay. So I said, oh hey, I don't need to clean this up because I can tell it's going to go into the slot just fine. It's actually not cleaning it up that's making it a problem right now. So next time I say I don't need to clean something up, I need to remember that I'm lying to myself. Let's see, can I get it out at this point? I don't think I can. Thinking that should be good enough. But you know, we have a nice little underboob right there. So we're going to set that to the side. Now we need F20, which is our gold pieces. I remembered this time. This is the boob knife. We are attaching the boob knife. Or rather, the collapsed version of the boob knife, because the boob knife never made any sense. It just kind of started being a thing that happened in the last 25 minutes of the game. We have attained the power of Mary Magdalene. We can now generate boob knives. And this just literally goes onto the center of this right here. It almost kind of looks like a tie, the way that it's modeled. I'm putting it on wrong again, aren't I? Yep, totally was. I was putting it too high. That makes sense why they didn't have any flesh to go underneath this, because it's just completely covered. Okay, so next up we have step 9, which was this, connects to the back of, so this is the back flesh? The notch goes, okay, so this is actually the neck joint. And this just pushes together here. There's two little notches that press together. And voila, we have one KOS-MOS chest. That's just open with a poly cap in the middle. That is an interesting way to construct a body. Okay, so now we need B4 and B5. Those are white pieces. They're going to go on the undersides of the boobs. Alright, B4 is on the left. And B5 is on the right. Those seem bigger than you remember. Yeah, they are kind of like, I don't know if it's because of the fact that the torso is kind of like in there with it, but yeah, those are those are pretty sizable. Yeah, they're nice legs, nice boobs. You know, I'm not afraid to admit that they're nice boobs. Okay, so before was on the left. Before goes underneath the right boob. Hope I didn't mix these up because I am dumb. And the notch looks like it faces downwards. Yeah, I guess that's the way that goes. God, this right here is making me like really question the way that this character is modeled in the game, because like this is very physically confusing. I mean, I guess it's kind of like almost like a bodice mixed into the bottom of the boob cage. So next we need more gold pieces. We need F24 and F27. So that's these little two side pieces. And then we will also need J6. Wow, this really is a Japanese model, isn't it? What exactly do you mean by that, Kat? Start with legs, then jump to chest. You know, I didn't think about it till you said it, but you're right. Okay, what is this J piece? It's... I'm being dumb, aren't I? Yeah, J is the white pieces. Sitting here looking for J like it's a new sprue. Shion, definitely very interesting design decisions for Anti-Gnosis Warbop. Can't fight biblical enemies without looking sci-fi sexy. Well, I mean, you know, she has to be sci-fi sexy because she's not just an android sci-fi bot. She's also Mary Magdalene. So, yeah, that was... I have to say, that was probably the weirdest fucking twist of the game. Like, this game had twists all over the damn place. But, hey! KOS-MOS is Mary Magdalene reincarnated as an android was a very strange flex. So who was Jesus? Chaos was Jesus. Well, no, Chaos was Yeshua. Which, when I looked up the Hebrew, I'm pretty sure was Jesus. But I guess it could technically be Joshua. But then why would Joshua be next to Mary? Very, very strange. Okay, so I have this piece. I don't remember what I was doing with it. Okay, so we take the chest, and this goes on top of the neck with the little notch in it facing downwards. Okay, I see. So this is going to embed itself just into the top of that collar piece. That is, once again, going to very much limit the mobility of the neck of this character. Okay, these are actually not pushed all the way together, so I can't get it to snap together. But I guess that's kind of what the purpose of this piece is. It's not just for decoration, it's also to kind of hold the two halves together. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I was pretty sure that Yeshua was the Hebrew name for Jesus. So that means Chaos was Jesus, and then I have no idea who the fuck was giving the speech on the summit. Because that scene very much made it seem like Jesus was answering to somebody else. Means the Lord is salvation or something. Interesting. Fuck, where was the connection? Okay, yeah, here's the sprue connection joint. The other one was right on the edge of this sharp corner here. Honestly, I hate whenever people put sprue connection points on sharp edges, like smaller than 90-degree points. Like, I would much rather have a flat space to sand back down than to have a corner that might get knocked off because I had to flatten out the sprue connection point. Only recall because you were looking it up during the last stream. Okay, so these pieces, these little, like, wing-type looking pieces, go on either side of the chest. So I assume this little notch on the side of it is going to go into the side notch of this. So of course I didn't keep track of which one was which, but it looks like I can tell by the inside notch. So this is going to go up and over like this. And alright, we have why is this one being a pain? Oh, okay, so there's a notch that's actually going in underneath the boob as well. That piece that's connected to the bottom side of the boob that kind of almost looks like the top of a corset is actually slotting into the side of this gold piece I'm putting on as well. So it's kind of held in multiple ways. Oh, and there's also a notch in the back side that's going into the gold piece, and it's all pushing outwards and being kind of a pain in the ass right now. Okay, there we go. I had to orient it a little bit to make sure it actually got inside the peach section here. That little notch there kept pushing out. But now, as you can see, it sits very nicely, and we have this nice golden chest, just kind of caged in. And the white balance is not liking all this gold. Actually, the white balance is just all over the fucking place. Fucking cameras are a pain in the ass sometimes. So next we are actually building the lower body. So we'll put this over with the legs. So we need our B, which is our whites. And we need B6 and B8. So we can see here, B6 is the derriere. And B8 is the ab section and the front of the groin, as well as the midriff. So as previously mentioned earlier in the stream, The next game looks like, based on the votes that are in at this point, that it's going to be Chrono Trigger. I'm thinking at this point it's probably going to be the Steam version, just because of difficulty in emulating and viewing DS properly on computer screen. And also because, you know, Square Enix actually got their head out their ass and actually fixed the patching on that. So that should be a nice change of pace. Honestly, Chrono Trigger is a great choice for the stream, I think, because very much like Xenosaga was, there's no such thing as random battles. It's all, you know, you can run into them on the map or you can avoid them, and once you've cleared them to the map, they're cleared. So we got these two. We need E10. E is... I might be being dumb again, but I think E is actually a sprue we don't have out yet. If I knew what color it was, I might have a better chance. That's K. We got AB. E is the flesh. We need E10. This is like a weird hybrid joint piece. So this one's going to need to get cleaned up pretty well. Because it's always a pain whenever there's a circular, like a disc for spinning for a joint, and there's just a giant chunk of sprue hanging onto the edge of it. I'm actually gonna take the rasp and sand this one down just a little bit. Alright, that should be good. So we take E10 and take this piece, and we're just gonna thread the needle onto there. And it looks like this is gonna go just to the one side. And I can't tell, it looks like I need to put the inside edge to the inside. And then you'd think, oh hey, we're going to stack another one on here for the other leg, but you'd be wrong. Because we're going to put the other side on. Actually, before I go any further, I'm double checking on this. Cannot tell. So I'm looking a few steps ahead to where we connect the other leg. And yeah, both legs have the same joints. Oh. Glad I held off, because I missed a marking. Need to swivel this back off, because there's one more E that needs to go in place first. We need E7. Weekly reminder, Bing sucks. I actually like Bing, but I'm assuming Bing is personally victimizing you right now. Bing is great for whenever you need to get, like, slightly not safe for work images and don't want to actually put not safe for work terms into the into your search parameters. Because Google will just straight up block anything they see not safe for work if you don't specifically refer that you want that. Okay, so 7 went on first, and then 10. And these two should notch together. And because of the way they're built, they do control the slight movement of each other. Looked up a game that's on Switch. Instead of giving you store page / wiki page, instead give you 20 forms from Switch release, arguing if it will be on Switch or not. Okay, that's pretty fucking bad, not gonna lie. Alright, now we can close up the thigh. Not thigh. Hip. I know anatomy. I know anatomy very well. Alright, so we got the, come on, focus. Oh, that's right, I turned off autofocus. Ha! So we can see here, we got the nice, the ribby part of the center, and then, you know, the nice outline of the undergarments. We need T3, which is another one of those special pieces that come pre-formed with multiple colors. So we need T3, which is... looks like it's a socket of some sort. Flip back to the front to take a look at what that's supposed to look like. Yeah, so T3... there's more T's than what this one bag is. I gotta find the other bag, I think. They're of course not labeled, so it helps a lot. Ah. This is probably the other one. And this looks exactly like the one we need. Because it's got that nice joint on the underside. So I'm not sure why they decided to do this, but like, yeah, it's like literally just like, there's just like a separate coating that's been specially applied to these pieces in order to make them multi-tone. It's actually a really interesting piece, because it's like a rounded piece, but then it actually like cuts in real hard here to the point where I can almost get it stuck on my finger. It's so tight. And this is just going to go into the back of the neck with the flat section facing front. So it's going to be like that, I think. Yep. Okay, so that makes sense. So that's gonna be this under boob area right here. So that's that. Now we just need these shoulder pieces, which are F's, which is gold. So we need 3 and 26 merged together, and then we need 4 and 23 merged together. So 23 is right here. And 4 is going to be this right up here. other side of it. And these go together with 0 instructions. I'm thinking I should just be able to line up the pins. Yes, there's 3 pins on either side. Ow! Fucking pinched myself. And then this is just going to go into the top side. Well, actually, this is like the back side. So right here, there's a pin here, there's a pin in there. And I can't tell which way it's supposed to go. There's like a hook here, and maybe a spot for that pin right there. Oh, these hang off to the side. Okay, there's a little notch right here. It's got a hole that goes down in. And it literally just hooks on the side. Right? Yes. That does not seem stable at all. It literally just feels like it hangs there. Like it's like floating just like on the edge of a pin. It's very not very stable looking. Ah shit. I lost a piece. Okay, so now we need 3 and 26. Six is down here. Throwing pieces at myself. Don't throw stuff at myself. But it's so much fun, Kaz. This was an interesting choice to print this as 2 separate pieces, because I feel like it would have been better off if it was just one piece. Because they wouldn't have to make the stems and sprues, but I'm assuming something came up in the process of actual manufacturing that caused them to do this very strange choice. Alright, yeah, so we have those 2 hook sections on either side. And now we need B11, which is the back of the dress. one is... Trying to be careful with this one because it is on a more visible area of the body. Oh yeah. Alright, and then it just goes on the back. And that, I guess, is going to secure these little hooks in place a little bit more. Not in a way that I'm very satisfied, but... Yeah, of course this one came out of its slot, so it's giving me problems with securing the body. Okay, that part of the body snapped on fine. And this one, now this side's giving me problems. Interesting, so something must go on the front of this still, because looking at the piece, come on, focus. You can see there's still right here and right here, there's little notches cutting out. And god, fucking... So this camera normally autofocuses pretty well, but today is just being spectacular. Yeah, so you can see how there's still little notches on either side of the main base that will be problematic. But like this, like these still just barely feel held on. But it is what it is. Next up, we get to apply a bunch of decorative bits. So we need G and F. F is the gold bits. We need 1 and 9. 9 is this piece right here. And 1 is this little tiny point piece here in the corner. And then we also need G8. It's been a while since we've been back to sprue G. This is an interesting bit because I'm not even sure what this represents just yet, but I'm sure we'll find out whenever we get it built onto the model. But it's a very visibly interesting piece. Like there's just these nice ridges on either side of it, and then just like an opening in the middle for something else. Just gonna clean up these joints. So the steps for this one are kind of odd. It's another one where they like do like a multi-step assembly in one block. But I need all 3 of these pieces. And they go together weirdly. This is this one's kind of worded confusingly like the chest joint was. You're guessing it's going to be a 2-stream build? Yeah, being that we're still only this far, I'm thinking it's going to be a 2-stream build as well. Alright, so we need the chest section. And it says first we take the gray piece with the like little ridges we were looking at earlier. And we're going to knock this right into the back facing upwards. And of course at this angle I'm having an issue seeing where it actually goes. There we go. Just a little notch that it goes into. Makes this nice little cavity. And I'm very confused as to what this is going to look like once it's covered up, because I'm still not entirely sure what it's looking to be looking like. So it Secondly, we put the gold piece in the middle of the back. Come on, scoot up. Keep stabbing myself on the front of these little gold pieces whenever I'm going to press things together. And then lastly, this other gold piece will fit right in the middle of the back. This makes this nice... Is that supposed to stick out like that? Okay, yeah, there's just like this nice gap right here, and that's intentional, it seems. I guess it's kind of like a venting area, and it looks good on the top. And now that that's built, we stick the top of the body on. Oh, I see. It's gonna slot real nice right like that. Alright, just gonna straighten out this poly cap. And... come on. Fuck. Knock that one side piece off that I was having problems with before, so this is gonna get fun. Stick that back together, and it's coming off real easy, but it's also, it's not too bad. Okay, let's pull this poly cap back apart, make sure that all the pieces go together off of this guy. So this notch goes into the side of the boob, and we're just gonna apply some pressure right here to make sure that the back slides into it and that the white slides into the side of it. And I'm thinking that should be slightly more secure now. No, it's still popping off real easy. Unfortunately, I think that's just the way that this piece is kind of built. Okay, that's feeling slightly more solid than it was before. Let's stick her back together. Cap towards the front, and we'll align that. Nice. I knocked both parts off. That's because I put it on backwards. Oh nice, I even knocked the neck piece off. Guess it's a good thing I remember how this goes together. I'm very surprised there's not more holding this together. Like, just an actual stem piece to keep everything tight would have been highly, highly appreciated here. Shit. Come on, go together, be nice. Together. And now this comes up like this. Actually, it doesn't. I'm doing the wrong side. There's that notch there. And everything just needs to go in nice and clean here. That looks nice. And then the other side goes into that notch. Just need to make sure it gets into both of these notches, and that looks nice as well. Let's try one more time to get this poly cap together and be the right way around. Okay, that thing popped off this time, but it was entirely my own fault. Fucking... This is like... This is one polycap joint that I am not appreciating right now. I'm actually going to try to assemble this while the poly cap is still there. Because I think that's the only way I'm going to get it to stay nicely. This is the right way. That goes together like that. Stick the other side on. Stick that together. I'm going to try to put a little bit of pressure. Maybe have the two halves of the chest hold a little stronger. These pieces are still not the best applied. This might be one of those things where like some adhesive might come in handy. But body is attached. It's just going to be minimal rotation because of trying to avoid losing those little side pieces. But we have a chest. Now we need to go back to our white pieces to get the front side of the skirt. B7. This piece right here. This is annoyingly going to be another friction fit piece, it looks like. So it's just going to slide into these notches here. Those notches that I was telling you before were definitely there for some reason. Oh, this is a tight friction fit. This actually, it had to bend outwards in order to get into the slot, so that's definitely not going anywhere. And now we have more F pieces, more gold. We are actually building the little, her side things that cover the legs. So we're going to make 2 of these. We need 8 and 22, and then a couple of H pieces. Eight and 22. And then we also need H16, which these are those high pressure ABS joints. And it's saying be careful not to clip off the actual nub. Just gonna smooth out the ball joint here. Okay, that one cleaned up real nice and easy. These are nice because these ones, the gate was just on this nice flat. So it's just a super easy, quick trim to clean them up instead of having to like make sure you don't misshape anything. And it's going to be just like those waist joints where two pieces go together to form one. These gold joints, again, they're so fucking pointy. All these sharp edges, they just keep digging into my finger. So we just stick these two together. Shit. Supposed to stick this in there first. Whoa, that other one's gonna be fun to get back apart. Okay, so there's one. Now I gotta pull this one apart. Oh, nice. I didn't completely collapse it on the backside. So I can just stick my nails in there and pry it back open. And there we go. Two nice solid rim bits. And it says to make sure we focus on the orientation of these. And these, we get to assemble everything. So we're gonna, oh, so this just sticks up into the side of this. This is all sorts of weird in my opinion, just because like, this is a piece that's barely hanging on by a little bit, and then we're connecting another little bit to it. And then we pop the leg in. Oh, and of course it's not wanting to go onto the poly cap very well. On the other side, I'm going to put the leg on first on this side. And then we just stick this up in the slot. Easier said than done. Like I said, it's a tiny piece that goes in a tiny hole to a piece that's secured by a tiny slot. And there. We have, of course that fell off. See if we can get this back on without too much of a hassle. Honestly, this poly cap probably should have been longer. But if you noticed, the sides weren't trying to pop off that time. So we have most of a body. We're getting pretty close to the end. Just, yeah. Will she stand on her own yet? Maybe if I balance her right. Looks like she's not wanting to stand, so that might be something we have to work on. I'm surprised I actually just realized this doesn't come with one of those like nice standing bases that have the little like waist clip that a lot of the models like Figmas and stuff do. Okay, so now we need flesh because we are making shoulder joints, I believe. We need E1, 2, and 11. So this is E. We've got our 2s right here. And our 11s are over here. And our 1s are these right here. This weird satin coated, and actually these are ABS as well. I didn't realize the flesh is ABS, which is maybe why it feels a little weird. No, because the G's don't. It's a coated ABS, so it's both a little bit harder to clip, and it's a little weird. So I'm just gonna trim down these gates. Make sure we smooth down the joints. Twos. Okay, so we take the 11, and we take the 1, just to be careful about the orientation, and we're just going to slide it over this. Damn, that is a tight-ass fit. And then we put the 2 on the other side. It actually wraps around the stem, which is interesting. And then this one, same difference. And, you know, it said be careful of the orientation. And I thought I was, but I need to double check because I just realized there was a little bit less of a alignment than I thought there was. And on accident, I was gratefully correct in what I needed to do. Just trying to pressure sink these down because they are just not 100%. Sometimes I wish I just like had a pair of pliers, but I don't want to mark the pieces with a pair of pliers. It's like this one is like not very well together. Come on. Good enough. Alright, now we need H3, which is another, like, edge of stocking-like piece. Oh, shit, that one just ricocheted across the fucking room. Thankfully it didn't leave the table. You have to go have a good night? Alright, Cass, I'm probably gonna be wrapping up shortly here, so you shouldn't miss too much. Alright. Come on. Is there a key on this? There does... yes, there is a key. Maybe an issue finding it. There it is. There's a little notch on the inside of this piece. There we go. Yeah, went together much easier once I got that notch in place. See, the notch is right here on this piece, but finding it on the inside because of how many ridges there are is actually easier said than done. There we go. And there's that. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be assembling a bunch more pieces at this point. Bunch of more minor pieces. So next we go to D, which we got A and B up there. We've got F here, G and H. Is this D? Ah yes, D are the semi-translucent blue pieces. This is actually a really fun looking sprue because it's yeah, I'm trying to get a good look on it. Here, I'll just use the flashlight on my phone. You can actually see that they're actually slightly transparent, and they just got a real nice look to them. Like they're almost opaque, but they're just a real dark color. And we're going to need D, and we're going to need J. J being our smaller of our white sprues. We're going to need both of them. So we need J, 9, and 10. Which are these ones here. And these, just like the last couple pieces we put together, these just kind of sandwich together. And then if you can't tell already, the blue pieces that we're going to cut out are going to go at in the little notch in the center of them. I'm just going to clean these up real quick, because I actually realized while I was clipping those that I was kind of sloppy with the removal of the gates. just gotta smush them together. And of course I picked two of the same piece. Only a 33% chance of doing that, and I of course did it. Alright, we have these two little white pieces. And we need D3 and D4. I'm actually going to cut out both 4s first, because there is zero, and I mean absolutely zero chance of me being able to distinguish these apart once they're clipped out. So, the side that has the notch, we're just gonna stick it in the center of that. Come on. I have small hands, but they're not that small. Motherfucker. See, this is why I didn't mix them up. Oh my god, I'm Butterfingers. Okay, let's just grab... That's embarrassing. Okay, the notch is on the bottom right now. Okay, and I should just need to stick them together. There we go. Push the rest of the way in. And there we go. You can see that nice, crisp. It got a lot more translucent once the blue was actually in there. That looks really nice. And we'll go ahead and stick the other one in the same spot. We gotta clean this one up still. That sprue joint will definitely stop it from resting flush in there. And orient it properly. And we can just drop it in, hopefully. And of course it didn't go straight. Come on, don't try to fall out on me. And we have that there. Now we just gotta clip out the 3s and put those in on the opposite side. Key is on the bottom, and oh come on, let's turn to the side by 45 degrees. Come on, go in the slot. There we go. So you can see here, it's got that nice little blue accent on both sides. And the other side wanted to go in much easier. So we again have that nice blue accent on both sides. And now that's going to go into two more pieces. So we have J4, which is this piece right here. We're going to cut two of those out. One of those, and then the other one. Now these, they have a notch in them, and that notch is where this is going to go into. So this just goes on right like that, makes a nice little accent on either side. And then there's these two little notches right here, and we're going to find that piece. It does recommend adhesive for this piece. So this is going to be interesting. It does say they should snap in. It actually has a little translation here, right specifically for this piece. And we can see right here, it says be careful of the direction in which they are inserted. The correct orientation is to fit loosely as shown in the figure. So, that's interesting. I'm going to cut out just one of these to start off with because it is a real small piece and I don't want to lose it. We're going to cut out a G7. And I cut that out the wrong side of the gate. Clip that real close right here. Alright, and according to this, G7 should go on the right side of center. And it says be careful of the orientation, so the notch is further to the forward or forward to the back. Further to is what I mean to be saying. And I'm giving a real close look. It looks like the part to the back is away from the stem. And I pop it on there. And actually, that, despite it recommending the adhesive, is actually relatively secure. That will work. So we'll go ahead and get the one. The one looks very similar, but the notch is slightly different. Cleaning up this piece number one. And then we'll pop it on the other side. And the correct orientation is the one that does not require stress. And this appears to be, that means the notch is further away. And again, that presses in, and with a nice... this one doesn't seem to be going in as nicely. Maybe I'm doing backwards? No, definitely not. Okay, yeah, so 7 is nice and solid. 1 is a little bit less so. But it is staying in place, actually. It's at least staying in place enough that it's not going to fall off on its own. You can see right there that it's got a nice attraction on both sides. I think these are her, like, wrist pieces, if I recall correctly. But yeah, so it is 9 o'clock, and as we know, 9 o'clock typically tends to signal the end of this stream. And so, as we previously showed, we got a decent amount of progress today. We do have a core built body, legs, these little rotating pieces that just kind of go up and down on top of them. I never noticed the asymmetry of this piece before. There's like a high piece, and then there's just the knee over here. It's all seems to be staying together pretty good. It's built pretty well. We've got a couple other pieces. I'm assuming this is going to be the shoulder once we finish building that. And actually that might be what this is a shoulder. I'm not sure.